They really don't want you to see what's coming. But the people on this channel, this audience, you've been watching it for years. You've been expecting it. And now we have arrived. And you're seeing it in real time here. I saw this great comment on Mickle Markets on his video. Someone said, you know what? I thought Ripple was restricted from selling XRP directly to institutions by court order. And Mickle was talking about OTC sales and, brought up that whole conversation. Remember this, the court didn't rule that Ripple can't sell to institutions. That's just some FUD, spin that you see from the SEC and XRP detractors. What they can't do is they can't wrap those sales in contracts because those contractual agreements are what creates an investment contract. That they can't do, no one can, right? And so it's just like Howie. You can sell oranges, you can sell them to institutions, you can sell them to the general public. You just can't sell oranges or orange groves, more accurately, wrapped in investment contracts. That's the problem here. So there's no problem if Ripple sells XRP on over the counter, as long as they don't have that investment contract or promises of profits based on their efforts, things like this. Then there's no securities offering to claim there. Now that bleeds into the second thing. People are like, well, they're selling over the counter. This will never affect prices. Look, every single asset in the world has over the counter, right? Or dark pools. You don't think you have this kind of thing in stocks and any other, investment out there? Of course you do. But there's a limit there, right? There's a limit to how much supply you even have there. And as demand continues to rise, well, it's going to bleed over into the regular market. They're going to have to buy there as well. So this isn't going to be some scheme that will keep XRP down forever. It's just a sensible way where if you want to buy a very large amount of crypto, well, if there's supply OTC, you're going to go there. You're not just going to smash $100 million on a market order on Coinbase to get your coins. Of course, that's common sense. That's normal for any sort of market. But don't be fooled thinking that forever those institutional buys will not affect the price. Of course they will. Axelar doing big things here. A lot of big things going on with the EVM sidechain as well. We see this interview here. It's what to expect from Axelar and XRP Ledger when they go live together here. And we hear this quote from Jazzy. We have a partner building a lending app on the EVM sidechain. You don't want to stop the momentum of a decade of users and liquidity building on the XRP ledger. Now's the time to strike. So it would be available from an XRP mainnet wallet thanks to Axelar Tech. So you'll be able to leverage that EVM functionality from your mainnet wallet. I'm telling you, this is unmatched. Yeah, we've seen lots of exciting features, but as Jazzy's saying there, we have a lending app that's being built. There is so much activity on this side chain. You're going to see an explosion of dApps. We're finally getting the secret sauce together where outside builders are going to come to this technology stack and they're going to build a ton of new and exciting things. And that's going to drive adoption and usage of this technology and demand for the XRP token. That's the important part here. There was this article that was out here. We see this. What if XRP? What would it be worth if XRP handles 25% of the global financial transactions? And in this article, it claimed that they ran the numbers through GPT and it calculated a 1900 XRP price with only 25% of the global transactions. So I took that article, I loaded it up in my GPT, and I told it, don't be biased here. I don't care if the numbers check out or they don't. Just give me your raw and honest opinion here. And this was its exact response. Let's cut the crap. That's not analysis. It's fantasy math. Now, understand what I'm saying here. I'm not going to ever tell you that XRP can't go to price XYZ. That's up for you to decide. And, it's 0.6 of a cent. I said, hey, this thing's never going to hit $1 or $2. And you saw what happened. I have no way of forecasting that. What I'm telling you is it's not this automatic thing just because we get a certain percentage of global transactions that the price has to go to $1,900. And GPT absolutely agreed with this, analyzing this article and its math here. It says, yes, XRP has real utility. Yes, global financial flows are massive, but scaling price linearly from a trading volume to 1972 per XRP. That's just not how liquidity, velocity, or markets work. It's economically illiterate. So we want to kind of come up with these ways to predict the future. And there are some good ways looking at adoption and demand. but it ain't going to work like that. You get 25% of global financial flows and the price automatically goes to $1,900. That ain't going to happen. The math don't check. The math ain't mathing, people. And again, I'm not making a commentary on how high XRP can go because I have no idea. I know it can go much higher than we are now. That's what really matters. Canada just launched three spot XRP ETFs. So you don't think we're going to get any here in the US? You're crazy. You know, there's demand there. Institutions want to issue this product, and we have three in Canada. US is going to look at this much the same. You will get them here in the US market. Investors now have regulated access to XRP, the third largest digital asset by market cap in Canada. It's coming to the US soon. Wait for Fidelity and wait for BlackRock, because both of those will be coming with XRP ETFs. You best believe it. Bill Morgan, he says, you know what? It seems likely to me that had the SEC not filed an appeal in summary judgment, that Ripple, they wouldn't have appealed. They would have just taken the result, been happy for a dominant win, and moved on. And so I think this is what it tells us. If they can't get that injunction stripped away and they can't get that fine lowered, they're probably not going to continue this. They'll just probably accept the results and call it a day. The judge really should. When both parties are calling for these adjustments to be made, the judge should do so. We should see that happen. But if not, let's put this case behind us. And that injunction is going to be invalidated by regulations that are on the docket that will probably pass this year anyway. Really, the biggest thing is if Ripple can save some money, why not? But the cost of going through appeals would probably be more than they would save anyway. They probably will move on. We'll see. But I think this thing's going to be over one way or the other. Either the judge is honorable and just goes ahead and settles this thing out, or if not, they'll just pay a little more money, and regulations will take care of it. Thought this was a great post by Nick from Encash Official. He says, you know, in the last 5 months, really, it's been that long since we've seen much action at all within crypto. It's just been flat. The noise is getting louder. We are starting to see retail crumble. He reads hundreds of comments a day that the majority, they're tired, frustrated, and they're starting to give up. And the consensus right now is there's not going to be an alt season, that the market's topped, and for now, we're going to enter a bear market. That's it. It's all over Red Rover. He's saying he sees this as an opportunity in really two scenarios here. Number one, we're close. We're as close as you can get to an alt season, and it may be starting as soon as July. And I think that's kind of the Charles Hoskinson approach here, where he thinks it's imminent, and next 6 to 9 months, you'll really see markets, crush it. But also, maybe we're looking at a 2020, 2021 kind of timeline, and alt seasons start around the end of this year and into 2026. This is what I would tell you. I'm no blockchain backer. I can't read the charts and all that stuff. What I know is when we look at asset prices right now, they're undervalued, specifically within altcoins across the board. And so we have good growth ahead of us, whether that's next month, whether that's the end of this year. I don't know exactly, but I know that prices are low. That's when you want to buy crypto, and we're going to be going really high sooner than later with regulations, adoption, and everything else. The time is near. Best believe that. And we will see. It's not that we'll never see another alt season or all this kind of nonsense. We'll see one. It'll happen. And I think it's going to happen sooner than later. We'll have to see it play out. But it's as simple as that. Valuations are low. Good time to buy or at least hold and see this thing play out. The president, once again, threatening to fire Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, calling him a dumb guy and a Trump hater. This is why I tell you, I don't think that he's going to try to fire the Fed chair. It wouldn't be good for markets if he's successful. I think it would take longer than his term has left anyhow. And really what he needs to do is put forward an appropriate successor. Someone that Jerome Powell would look at and go, okay, fair enough. And I think Jerome Powell will step down and they could replace him now. And it's not a bad way or a bad approach either, because you're kind of, the current Fed chair would have to write off on it and say, yeah, that's an okay pick. And the president would be actually selecting the individual. And you'd have someone with a really long-term perspective here, not on the very end of their tenure. I think we need that. I think we need someone with a long-term goal here. We'll see it play out here, but I really don't think he's going to attempt to fire the Fed chair. It's going to be very disruptive. Worst case scenario, Jerome Powell probably ends his days there. But I wouldn't mind if he put someone up there acceptable where the Fed would look at that and go, okay, that's fine. And you kind of have both sides, validating the new pick. I think that would be the best way. And we can get someone in there now that has a long term perspective. Some people are saying Ethereum is the most obvious trade of 2025. Spot Ethereum ETFs are seeing strong inflows, signaling a rise in institutional interest. Big names are comparing this rally to 2020, 2021, predicting a run to new all time highs. But beware, rising exchange deposits could mean sell pressure ahead, of course. The question isn't really if ETH is going to run, it's just when. And I think it's the same idea. It's tied to alt season. It's not if we will have an alt season, it's just when. All your major cryptos, they're going to do really good. What you've seen out of XRP to date from 50 cents to over $2, that's just catching up. That's not growth yet. We're going to put on growth when this alt season takes off. Last but not least, Zhao Dao, been talking about it a lot. David Schwartz saying, I'm very impressed by what I've seen so far. Congratulations to the team. And it's really two things there, right? It is the new foundation. Monica Long told us last year that a foundation, a replacement was in the works. It's looking strong. And Zhao Dao is this kind of, your ability as an everyday person to participate, to have a voice. This is exciting stuff. I'm going to link down below Zhao Dao, their X page. Please, if you can, give them a follow. I think they're at 1,900 followers there. Let's keep that thing going up because this is a big part of the future of XRP. David Schwartz likes what he sees. I like what I see here. This is going to be a big one. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.